Hey everybody, it's your girl Nail, and welcome to a brand new episode of Simply Nail's Tiny Studio. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. When you get the opportunity, please do not forget to hit the like button. And if you are a returning member of the Tiny Studio and you have not already subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Please go ahead right now, please go ahead and subscribe. I'll wait. Thank you so much for subscribing and liking the channel. It has been a while since I have talked to you. Oh my God. It has been a good while, hasn't it? Let me tell you, my husband went to a convention in late September. I think it was late September, around September 20th or somewhere in there. And he went to a convention that had maybe about 14 to 15,000 people present. And I was very cautious and very I was very not cool with being in a crowd of people that size. And so I was going back and forth on whether or not I was going to attend, but eventually I decided, no, that's not going to be my jam. But, I supported my husband because he really wanted to go. And as you know, he has been in the fight of his life with battling male breast cancer. So he received the okay. He went ahead and went. And when you know it, he caught COVID. And your girl caught the COVID. What? Now, what is very interesting about this strand that's going around today, some people are catching the flu, they're catching RSV, or they're catching COVID. And then some people I've heard are catching all three at one time. But we just had COVID, and so it was pretty bad. His level, what he was going through, but his illness was bad. And of course, it doesn't matter, what my immune system looked like as compared to his. The fact is that I still caught it because I was caring for him, and we sleep in the same bed, of course. So all of my little things with using Lysol and this and that and the other, that probably kept us from getting as bad as it could have been, or suffering more than we could have suffered. I also implement a lot of different other things, like I use silver inside my nose, salts. Putting salt and putting silver inside your nose is really good for you because it helps kill the virus inside your nostrils. I took a lot of golden seal, a lot of vitamin C, a lot of B12, and iron, and a lot of things to help, continue to boost my immune system. Dandelion, a lot of those things. And I gave those things to my husband as well. I got over it. My level was not as bad as his, so I was able to get over it a little bit faster, I think. But he kept the cough for a little bit, and that's at night. Sometimes I can hear him coughing. So my advice to you guys on that level is that it is October. We are heading into the flu season. I believe personally that the flu season came a little earlier. I think it came around in September, late August, September. So please, if you are in a crowded area, please protect yourself. Put on a mask. Okay, continue to boost your immune system so that if you do catch something, it won't be as bad on you, or as bad or as taxing on your body. And another thing is, like I said, keep masked up, keep your immune system boosted, and do your best not to attend certain type of events that have that will have or feature a lot of people. Like, I know this is election season. People are campaigning. They're having rallies and things like that. If you know that you are prone to become ill from being around large groups of people, you know that you have some things going on in your health background where your immune system is not as strong as the next person's, don't attend those events. Don't do that. I know you may want to support who your candidate may be or candidates may be. You want to support them, but you can do so over Zoom, send some money, but being in an arena or stadium or something of that nature where there are thousands of people in attendance is not a good idea. Not at all. But anyhow, that's where I've been. And then in the process of being sick, school does not stop. So I'm in grad school, and listen, I was in the bed studying. I was in the bed reading. Some of my textbooks, I can get them in audio form. So when I was too weak to actually pick up a textbook, I was listening. I was listening to chapters, the same chapter over and over again to make sure the information would sink into my head. So it's been a lot, child. It's been a lot. And then on top of that, now we had Helene. Helene just came by maybe about 2 weeks ago. And now Mr. Milton, Hurricane Milton, is on the way. This is Tuesday, October the 8th. Happy Prime Day. Happy Prime Day. It's Tuesday, October 8th, 2024. This is the eve of Hurricane Milton's landfall, which would be sometime tomorrow, October the 9th. And what the weather forecasters are suggesting is that Milton will hit here in Tampa Bay around 8 o'clock in the evening. So that's really interesting. How do we prepare for hurricanes? How do my family prepare for a hurricane? Well, we've been living in Florida for, let's say, 19 years. We moved down here in 2005. My daughter was 1. And when we first arrived, we arrived a week before Katrina hit. And that was my first hurricane. My first hurricane lesson was Katrina. Now, neighbors and whatnot had told us, well, here in Tampa, we haven't had a hurricane in almost 100 years. And really what we get or receive are the winds and the rain. Because when you think about a hurricane, as it's turning, there are bands within it. And those bands are what hits the shores and hits the people, the states or the islands, that those bands, those outer bands, even though the eye of the hurricane may be going left, as it turns, those bands hit everyone else. So when we say, when I was told that with Hurricane Katrina, we were only going to get the winds and the rain, that did not quell my fears. But let me tell you something. The winds and rains of Katrina was a nightmare. And Tampa Bay, we only received the winds and the rain. The flooding was horrible where I was. I was in a flood zone. So the flooding was really, really bad. It was like major thoroughfares around me were lakes, basically. It wasn't great. That was my first experience. And the darkness that a hurricane brings at 10 o'clock in the morning is epic. very, very scary. So that was my first experience with a hurricane, just the outer bands of it. So we have been very fortunate not to have had direct hits of hurricanes. With Helene, once again, we just received the winds and the rain. And because I live about 30 miles inland from the coast where I am, it makes it, we just get flooding. Not major flooding, but just flooding. With Helene, we didn't even lose our power. We got minor flooding. Everything was fine. But with Milton, this will be a direct hit. And am I afraid? Yes. And I'm mostly afraid because of the flooding. I'm afraid because of electricity, power. So to prepare for a hurricane, and I'm trying to think. I want to say there was another hurricane in 2017. What was the name of that hurricane? I want to say it was Ian, or I can't remember the name of that hurricane in 2017. That was pretty bad. We only received the outer bands, the winds and the rain, but that was bad. And there was major flooding in my area, my neck of the woods of Tampa Bay. So, and we did lose power. So, hurricanes in Florida, not cool. Not cool. And it seems to me that they're getting worse. They're really starting to get worse. So what are we doing to prepare for this hurricane? Well, we have water. You know, it's always good to have water, and not just bottles of water. We have I think we have a 5 gallon, or is that two? We have a 10 gallon jug of water, and then we have several cases of water. And what I'm doing today is I'm filling pots with water so that we will have water, you know, just in case that the power goes out. Speaking of power going out, I have lamps that are battery operated, and I have lots of candles all over the house. They're not just for, you know, they're not just for aesthetic purposes, but they're also for times like this. I also have lights that are battery operated lights, and I have them up under the kitchen cabinets. I have one in the pantry, and I have lights. I have portrait lights as well, but those are all battery operated, which means that in an emergency such as this, if the power goes out, we still have lights. Okay. So another thing that we do is we keep cash around. That's really important because if the power goes out, you know, ATMs are, you know, inoperable. So you need to have cash. And so we have cash. And our both of our vehicles, well, all of our vehicles, my son's vehicle and my truck, my husband's truck, we have gas in it. So if we had to leave, we have gas to be able to get to wherever it is we would need to go, which will probably be to Orlando or Kissimmee, if, you know, we were told that we had to vacate. And when you are in the one thing about Florida is if you are told that you have to evacuate, there are evacuation shelters that you can go to. So there's an evacuation shelter, which is our public library, and that's about 5 to 10 minutes away. So it's built to be able to it's not just, and it's just not a library, but it can be a shelter for people who need it. So physically, I would say we're prepared for the hurricane. Oh, another thing that we do to prepare ourselves for a hurricane is we make sure we have our medication set up. So um, the advisory is to have 3 days of medication available to you. In my situation, I have about a month's supply of medication. So, and so does my husband. And so we just, you know, pack that up as well. So I'm not worried about the medications because that part is really important too. And that's something that I've learned living in Florida, is that you have to be prepared during hurricane season. I usually start prepping for hurricane season in June, late May, early June, and start getting things together. But for us, the hurricane season really doesn't pick up until mid-August, and that's when all of your major big ones start, popping through. And that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing right now. Yesterday I baked bread, so I have maybe a loaf and a half available of bread, because I baked 2 loaves, but my family enjoyed a half a loaf last night. It's just something about fresh baked bread that it's hard to resist. So perhaps maybe in the morning, tomorrow morning, I'll bake 2 more loaves to keep them on hand. And we have the basics, peanut butter, jam, tuna. I'll probably tell my daughter tonight to boil some eggs, so that we'll have some eggs, just in case the power goes out, we'll still be able to have some proteins going on that we can eat. I cooked up a lot of the perishables just in case that the electricity, leaves us, the power goes out. So things that's in my freezer right now, I've been cooking them. I've been using them up because and that's one thing about living in Florida that I've learned for my 19 years here, especially between the months of June and October. I really don't keep a lot of things in the freezer that I know I'm not going to use right away. And I know I'm not going to use within the next 2 or 3 weeks. It doesn't pay to have a lot of stuff in your freezer because the power could go out. And yes, you can stock your freezer with ice and all of these other things, but sometimes when the power goes out and you have all of this heat, and that's one thing about living in Florida, there's a lot of humidity, and it gets hot very fast. I cannot remember what the name of that storm was. I think it was in 2017. I can't remember. If you remember the storm name of 2017, let me know, because I've forgotten. But anyhow, during that storm, when our power went out, our power was out for, I want to say, 2 days. And the refrigerator, oh my God. The freezer, oh my God. Just 2 days of having the power out, and you have to throw all the food away. Actually, the first day, because it got hot instantly. When the power went out, it got hot in here, really hot. And that's why I've learned to not keep a whole lot of stuff in the freezer. Use the freezer and the refrigerator what it's for. Get a few things and use those things up, especially during the hurricane season, because it doesn't pay to keep a whole lot of stuff in your freezer or in your refrigerator during those months, because if your power leaves, then you're out of food. So another great thing that we do is we keep ice. We have coolers around here. which is a great idea. Get yourself if you're living in Florida, if you're new to Florida, invest in buying yourself some nice coolers. The kind of coolers that you would take on a picnic or to a game or something like that. And we have a few coolers, and we have lunch containers and things like that. So if the power goes out, then we have coolers that have ice in them, and then we could put the perishable, like the boiled eggs that I was talking about, put that in there. Juice, milk, all of those things can go into those coolers with the ice and all those, and the ice packs and things like that. And that's really important too, as a Floridian, to have that. And because even if you have to evacuate, you have food, because you could put the containers, you can put the coolers into your vehicle. You know what I'm saying? So we're just getting ready for this hurricane. Like I said, we're not in an evacuation zone. Now, one of my girlfriends, she's in an evacuation zone. So she was able to locate an Airbnb. And so she and her family are, I think they're on the road right now to that Airbnb so that they can get to safety, because they live right off the water. So anyone that's living in Florida right now, living in Tampa Bay right now, Tampa, I want to say Bradenton, Sarasota, they've already evacuated Anna Maria Island. And I feel really bad for the people who live on Anna Maria Island, because one of my favorite places here in Florida, well, I should say in the Tampa Bay area, Anna Maria Island, I think that's in Pinellas County, or is that in Manatee? I think that's Manatee County. I'm not sure. But they just went back to their homes or their places of residence, the residents of Anna Maria Island. They just returned to their homes, or what was left of them, and they were busy cleaning up, or beginning the process of cleaning up last week, right? From Helene. And there's still debris there, and they were evacuated. They were mandatorily evacuated again. I want to say on Sunday they had to leave. So can you imagine that? You have this, you've lost your home already. It's a shell of a home. Maybe the roof is still there, or maybe not. And you're trying to go through the process of figuring out what you're going to do next. And then a week and a half later, here comes another major storm that's going to tear up whatever remained from Helene. I mean, just thinking about that is heartbreaking to me. You know, really heartbreaking to think that when they come back or return to Anna Maria Island after Milton, I know I was looking at some pictures, and a lot of cars and homes, it's just nothing but sandbars. Just piles and piles of sand on top of things, on top of homes and cars and, restaurants. It's just sandbars. So they were already going to have to, dig through that. It's just a whole mess, child. If you do not believe in global warming, you need to move to Florida. I'll repeat myself. Excuse me. If you question global warming, or if you do not believe in global warming, move to Florida. I guarantee you, your opinion will definitely change. And here's the thing also, that the insurance companies down here, I think that we may be down to maybe one or two insurance companies here for people who have homes to be insured. And you could, at one point living here, you could feel kind of secure knowing that if a hurricane came through and destroyed your home, that you've been paying into an insurance policy that's going to be there for you. It's going to be your safety net and help you to rebuild. But with the hurricanes, how powerful they have become and how frequent they are hitting, insurance companies are leaving the state. So the insurance companies that have remained are really and truly increasing their policy holders' rates to the point where it becomes truly insane. You're paying more for insurance. Your insurance rate is more than your mortgage. And there are a lot of Floridians that cannot handle that type of expense. So they have homes that are not insured because they can't afford the policy note. So when Hurricane Helene hit and wiped out their home, that's it. And when Hurricane Milton comes, for those who do not have insurance, that's going to be it for them as far as their homes are concerned. They're not going to be able to salvage anything or rebuild. These insurance companies rake in millions upon millions of dollars, but they see Florida as a real liability. And that's another thing. If you do not believe in global warming, just ask your friendly state insurance company if they believe in global warming. Because here in Florida, yes, the insurance companies believe in global warming because they are the ones that's paying out the money, have been paying out money to policyholders for 20 years. And within the last, maybe, I want to say 5 years, the hurricanes have been 5 to 10 years, the hurricanes have been so bad as to where the devastation can get into the tens of millions of dollars. And insurance companies are looking at Florida as more of a liability. And that's why many of them have left the state. And that's why the insurance rates for the companies that have stayed are astronomical for homeowners. And when I think about my governor here, Governor DeSantis, that's one of the reasons why I did not vote for him the second time around. I didn't vote for him the first time around, let's be honest. But I definitely did not vote for him the second time around because, he said that he was going to do something about the insurance companies to help bring back insurance companies to stabilize the insurance rates for Floridians, and he did nothing. Instead, he helped feed into the capitalistic part. He's more for corporations than he is for the people. He's more for making sure that corporations here in Florida make their money off the backs of the Floridians, off of Floridians. And that, to me, is a real problem because the people who live here in Florida are of various ages and backgrounds, cultures, and whatnot. Everyone who lives in Florida is not part of the 1%. They're not rich people. We all don't live in Palm Beach or West Palm Beach. We all don't live there. We don't live where former President Donald Trump lives. So we are just the common Floridians, the everyday Floridians. What we are the people who make this country work. And when you have a situation where your government is not supportive of the people that makes the state turn, then it becomes problematic. And that's why I did not vote for Ron DeSantis. I didn't vote for him the first time. I voted for Andrew Gilliam. And the second time I voted for Chris. I can't think of his first name right now. I voted for Chris. And that's why, because I believe that Ron DeSantis is for big corporations. He's not for ordinary Floridians. He doesn't care about us. What is that song by Kendrick Lamar? What's it called? He's not like us, or they not like us? Something like that. Ron DeSantis is not like us. Not at all. Not at all. So that is the situation that Floridians is facing today. On the eve of Milton, we're trying to get ourselves prepared. We're trying to get ourselves physically prepared and mentally prepared for what's next, for what's to happen. Am I afraid? Am I scared? Of course. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I am afraid. And when the storm touches down, I'm going to be doing what? I'm going to be crocheting. I'm going to be reading, trying to take my mind off of things. And, when it gets really whipping up, I'm going to lay down and go to sleep. I'm going to get in bed. That's what I'm going to do. Because it's scary. Hurricanes is scary. I was talking to my dad the other day, and he was saying, well, because I'm a native of Michigan. I'm a Michigander, born and raised. And he said, well, you know what? Guess, snow hasn't killed anybody. That's what he told me. He said, snow hasn't killed anybody. He said, your sister is living in Vegas. It's an oven there. Okay, so you're getting baked. You're getting baked in Vegas. We have family in California where you have the wildfires and earthquakes, right? And then he was saying, and then there you are in Florida with the hurricanes. And he said, look, snow ain't killing nobody. But, people move to warmer climates because they're tired of the snow. They're tired of the cold. And for me, I was having seasonal depression with, that came for me every year with Michigan winters. And when I moved to Florida, that seasonal depression went away. And I love Florida. There are pros and cons to living here. And one of the cons is hurricane season. The rainy season. That is the con. But in between those periods of time, it's beautiful. I see palm trees every day. I can look out my window right now and I see a really big palm tree outside my window. I see large pine trees outside my window. When I leave my home and I get into my vehicle and I travel down the street, I see palm trees everywhere. I see green everywhere. The sun is out. It is just, one of those trade-offs that you have to make when you're living somewhere. And that trade-off is, the weather. That's the situation. Just like if you moved out to Arizona, or to even if you moved out to Kansas or something like that, it's a trade-off with that. The pro is that you are in, a nice state. You're in a nice, you're in a nice state or whatever, but that area is known for what? Tornadoes. So it's just the way North America is made up. I mean, anybody can get it. Anybody can get it in North America. I remember living in Detroit, and we had a situation where like 8 tornadoes touched down in our city. 8 tornadoes. And I believe that happened in what, I want to say 1998, 1997. It was either, maybe it was it was about like 1995, 1996. There were like 8 tornadoes that hit the city of Detroit and Highland Park, Michigan. So there are moments when you can be in any state in America and you can experience a natural disaster or a natural event. And I mean, it happens. It happens. But you have to weigh the pros and the cons for your own circumstances, your own life situation, and decide whether or not it's beneficial for you to stay or should you leave. I have a classmate that has moved from here after 44 years. She and her husband are in their 60s, and they decided to leave Florida and move to Pennsylvania. And she told me that the reason why they decided to do that is because hurricane season. They're getting up in age, and she and her husband having to go outside to board up their windows and do all the things that I just told you I was going to do. It's something that they said they did not want to continue to do as they begin to advance in years. So I can understand that. That makes sense. You might as well move back to, that's why they moved back to Pennsylvania. They've been living here for 40 plus years. And especially with the hurricanes hitting the way that they are, that's why, that was a con that they had to weigh against their personal circumstances and situation. And then they had to factor in, what did they want their future to look like? And that's why they made that move to Pennsylvania. So I understood that. I did. My husband and I, we talked about moving. Talked about where we would want to move. He doesn't want to move to Georgia because I would pick Georgia. If I had to pick another state, I don't think that I want to. I don't have the inclination to move to any other state in the South. I think Florida is a south that I want to go. Georgia would be next. And after that, no. I would like to, I see moving to Nevada or Arizona. Yes, I could see myself doing that. My husband went to uni in, in Arizona. So he knows what it's like to live in, I think he said he lived in Phoenix. So he knows about what it's like to live in Arizona. So I guess if we had to move from Florida, we would move out west to either Nevada or Las Vegas, where my sister is, or we would move to where my husband's family is in Arizona. But we won't be moving back to Michigan. Because I know my dad is like, hey, snow has never hurt anybody. And then my best friend is like, oh, you need to come on home. But as much as I honor and love and respect Michigan as a Michigander, I don't see myself moving there full time. Now, I could probably do it a seasonal thing. Like I could see myself coming to stay or live maybe starting in the month of April and going all the way up to October maybe, and then beating it, because I just don't see myself living there from excuse me, from Halloween to Easter. I don't see that. I just don't. In fact, one of my visits to Detroit in 2019, before the pandemic, we were there in November. And let me tell you, it started snowing. It was cold. And I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I had on this big old fur coat, and even though I look fly, yeah, but it was cold. And I didn't like that, you know? So I don't see myself moving to Michigan, moving to the Detroit area. I don't see myself doing that full time. I can see myself doing it half a year, maybe, but never full time again, especially in the winter time, because me and snow had some very, very, very bad experiences. And, you know, I've been in accidents in snow. Child, I've been in accidents in snow. I've just had some really bad experiences in snow. Yes, snow hurts nobody. It's the people. It's the people who drive on the snow that, you know, hurts people. You know, that is the factor. But yeah, so I just wanted to hop on here to talk to you guys and to let you guys know what I'm doing. I'm doing well. I redecorate. I'm trying to get the house ready for fall. Well, it is fall, but I've been doing some redecorating. I've redone my bedroom and my primary bath. My colors are platinum and purple, or like a royal purple. And so I'm getting ready to put purple in here as well. I'm redecorating in here slowly, the tiny studio. And I'm getting ready to change the curtains to either gray. I have the blinds, and I have the curtains and everything, but I'm just waiting on my son to help me put those things up. And I've already redone my shelving unit here that's in the tiny studio. Excuse me, my voice is leaving again. I did have my Coach purses here. If you recall, I have my Coach collection there, but I moved them because they began to get dusty, and I've ordered some bags for them to go in. So when they come, I will let you see the bags that I'm going to be storing my Coach purses in, handbags and all those things, to keep the dust from getting in them and to preserve them, because some of my Coach bags are 50 plus years of age, and I want to keep them in really, really great condition. And another thing that I'm doing here in the tiny studio is I'm getting prepared for the fall winter season. So I have 2 bags that I'll be wearing now from maybe this month starting all the way up to maybe March. And so it's going to be the Patricia is one. This is the Patricia. And then I was already wearing the 9966 bag, the Legacy Zip. I'm wearing that right now. That's the bag that I'm wearing. Is it around here? No, it's in the foyer. So I started wearing that. So I have 3 bags that I'm going to be wearing for the Oh, four. I have four designated bags that I'll be wearing for this season, the fall winter season. So they're going to be the Patricia, the Legacy Zip, and the Crescent, and of course my Stewardess. So those four Coach bags, vintage Coach bags, I'll be wearing them for the fall winter season. So I'm in the process of cleaning them and getting them set up so that I can be able to wear them and love on them. I haven't worn my Patricia in 2 years. I can't believe it. 2 years. She has to be cleaned because she's dusty. You see that? She was sitting over there on the shelf. So you have to take care of your vintage Coach bags because the dust will begin to degrade the leather, and that's not what you want. You want to keep loving your bags. You want to keep them operational and useful to you. They just shouldn't be hanging around for, what's that word I've been using today? For aesthetic purposes. And my bags were hanging, they were sitting there hanging around on the shelf, enjoying the view, being part of my tiny studio. But then I realized that I needed to remove them so that they can still be as beautiful to me as they were when I first acquired them. And eventually, as I told my daughter, my tiny studio assistant, I want to be able to pass that on to her. I want to be able to pass that on to my daughter-in-law, pass them on to my oldest daughter, so that they can enjoy them and they can get usage out of them, because these Coach bags are just something else. As I said earlier, the vintage Coach, my oldest vintage Coach bag has to be about 53 years old. 53 years old, and that would be what was that? My basic bag, I think. I think that bag is I believe that bag is hitting 50 plus now. So that's why it's really, really important to take care of your Coach bags, your vintage Coach bags, because these new Coach bags with this genuine glove tan leather, this this is glove tan leather. I had purchased a few of these newer Coach bags with the genuine glove tan pebbled leather. And, they're beautiful bags, but they're not this. They are definitely not this type of leather. This is the original glove tan leather. So I'm going to hop off of here. The hubby is home now. I'm thinking it's got to be about almost 3 o'clock. So he's off early. A lot of places, schools shut down yesterday. Well, there was no school yesterday, Monday, in lieu of the storm. And I'm believing that businesses are shutting down early today. And I'm going to order a few more things from Publix, which is like a premier grocery store around here. If you're in Michigan or in the Midwest, Publix would be like comparable to Kroger, or what Kroger was when I lived in the D. Publix is a really great store. So they have some things. They're a little pricey, of course, but as their motto says, shopping is a pleasure, and they ain't lying. They ain't lying. So I'm going to order a few things from them, and I'm going to, see how the hubby is doing today, and I'm going to get prepared for this storm, okay? So I want to, for everyone that's watching, if you are a Floridian and you are in an evacuation zone, I hope that you're already on the road to safety. I really do. And here's a tip for you. If you're leaving town and you're going north, or you're heading towards Georgia, stop at Buc-ee's. Stop at Buc-ee's. I think it's like right on the end, right after you leave Valdosta or you enter Valdosta. I think Buc-ee's is like it's a gas station, but it's so much more than just a gas station. It's like a small department store, you know. But stop at Buc-ee's and load up, you know, get your gas going, you know, pick up some things, some convenience items for yourself. Make sure you do that. And like I said before, get a cooler with some ice and put that into your vehicle, you know, with some drinks and whatever, and maybe some cheese and some fruit or whatever for the kids and things like that, for yourself. Um, keep yourself keep yourself hydrated because it is hot out here. Keep yourself hydrated, and be mindful of your fellow Floridians. Be mindful of everyone. I know everyone is scared, but there's no need for us to get into fights and argue, and because tensions are really high. You know, tensions are really high, and we're all afraid. You know, we're all in the same boat. We're all scared. So if you are evacuating, you know, please do so in a really respectable manner, because we're all in this together. If you are in an evacuation zone, or if your county has said that you need to evacuate and you're still on the fence about it, you know you're going to ride it out, and you're able-bodied, and you have the tools necessary to go ahead and evacuate, please consider doing so. A lot of people lost their lives a week and a half ago due to Helene, and they waited too long to get out, to evacuate, or they decided that they were not going to evacuate. If you are in a situation where you can't evacuate, and due to health issues, money issues, or whatever, please get in touch with someone, a city resource, so that they can be notified of what's going on. You know, if you have neighbors around you and you know that you are unable to care for yourself, please go to your neighbor, call your neighbor on the phone, let your neighbors know that you are there, so that you know they are aware of what your situation is. I have 2 cell phones. Everyone has a phone. Please make sure you keep your phone charged. That's very important. Keep your phone charged. Charge them up tonight, and let your family and your friends know that if necessary, you will get in contact with them. You will text them. Um, but in the meantime, keep your phone charged, and after a certain time, turn it off, because I'm going to let my family know that after I, you know, fully charge my phone up again, after 7 o'clock, I won't be accepting any phone calls. I will call you or text you after the storm, because I need to conserve on my battery. You know, so those are the things that I would like for my fellow Floridians to think about. And we're going to pray for each other. And I pray for everyone in the path of Milton. And as I pray for you, please pray for me and for my family. As I did my intentions this morning, my intentions is to remain calm today, and to speak with compassion, to speak with wisdom, to speak with kindness, and to show love. So every day I have intentions that I speak into the universe, because that keeps me focused. It keeps me focused, and I believe that the angels are surrounding me. My spirit guides are around me, and when I speak these intentions, you know, they help me to bring those intentions to the forefront and into the light. So that's my goal, is to stay calm, and that will be one of my intentions for the next 72 hours, is to stay calm. All right, I am out of here. I'm going to put Patricia back over here. And I have schoolwork to do. I have classwork to do, so I'm going to send my professor an email to let him know that I am in Tampa, so that I have some homework that I need to be working on now. So a few assignments. So I'm going to let him know that I'm going to attempt to get my assignments in on time. But if not, could he please grant your girl some grades? That's my intent. I hope that he's able to do that. Okay, well, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to be off the line, so I will talk to you again after Big Milton has passed, to let you know how we're doing and how things look in my neck of the woods here in Tampa Bay, Florida. Yeah, I'll do that. Do not forget to like and subscribe to Simply Nails Tiny Studio. And if you would like to help support the channel, you could please do so at the link that I will place in the information box or the description box of this video. All right, then. So I am out of here, and I hope that you continue to have a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday. And please, please, if you're a right-hearted person, you're a kind-hearted person, please go ahead and send some prayers up to the universe for all those in the path of Milton. Okay? Thank you. Bye-bye.